Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for September 8th, 2018. We're your hosts, Peaceburger 2448 and Ramp at Epsilon.
Hi. Oops.
I was used to you putting it in staff chat.
We've got a new fancy live chat.
I see this now.
For that reason. That way we don't have to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Also, this isn't the 25th of August. What are you doing? I forgot to update the title on my little bottom thing.
Oh.
I knew I forgot something.
Well. Don't mind me, folks. If I go off on a rant about a tweet that may or may not be right about the plot of Geo's episode 2, it's gonna happen. And if it sounds like I'm mad, I'm mad. Because I know that's gonna be the status quo they're going to establish every fucking 2 weeks. So when they get to certain shows that I'm like, so are we just gonna totally let the bad guys just win? Yes? Okay.
That's interesting.
What?
So our FFC emote for Whelp is not working on the embedded chat.
Also, out of curiosity, are we actually live?
Yes.
Are we live on the correct channel?
Yes.
Because the chat says we're not out of hosting.
I got the exited hosted mode.
I didn't. Chat.
Huh. So Streamlabs is having an issue with it. Okay. I can live with that. That's fine. Because that has to be their end. I see everything working. For the Whelp emote anyhow. Huh. Okay. But
Well,
no,
I'm gonna.
if it's messed up on your side, that's just you. Because I'm seeing it right now.
Is the bot like putting stuff in chat at the moment?
Not at the moment. Do I need to get the bot to put something in chat for you?
Okay. Okay. Good. I was scared that it wasn't working. So yeah, folks, we even though we don't have the direct to talk about, well, a proper direct instead of an indie direct, we'll get to that. We do have some other stuff. But before we get to that, Tommy, what have you been playing?
Well, honestly, not as much as I probably should. Like, I don't think I've actually played anything outside of what's been streamed.
Me neither. Really? Actually, I've been playing some Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But that's just mostly just grinding out the challenge mode crystals so I can get all the costumes. Although I have found out a cheap way to play the game. They have essentially an adaptive difficulty mode where you can like mess with a whole bunch of sliders for boss health and enemy health and enemy damage and your health and your damage. And the game just accepts that, oh, you're on a difficulty. Oh, you're good. You still get all the stuff you normally have. You can just swap difficulties whenever you want. So, yeah, I've been able to essentially cheese my way to victory. So I got Elma from Xenoblade Chronicles X this way. Because, fuck her boss fight that just dumps clones of her that lock your special gauge that allows you to revive people if they go down. N is your like main source of big damage in major boss fights with a lot of health. And you have to take out those clones, and oh right, they all have AoE attacks. and they can all attack at the same time with those AoEs. And they also all have the same one-shot hit move. Fuck that boss fight, by the way. It sucks. It really, really, really sucks.
Kind of sounds like it, in all honesty.
Yeah, that's why I went adaptive difficulty. It's like, oh, I still get her and get her like in the game properly if I do adaptive difficulty. Well, fuck this then. I am not spending an hour trying to figure out how to do this boss and how to do this boss and how to do it right. Fuck that. I will do it the cheap way, and I don't care. I also love how Elma's treated as the main character of Xenoblade Chronicles X when she's not. Your player created, your created character is actually the main character of X. But I guess Elma's counted in place of him/her for this instance. But outside of that, I found out that if you beat these like retro, like I wouldn't say arcade, but those handheld games that you would see at like a Walmart or a Dollar General that are just like one screen, the LED ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you beat a bunch of those on Union Cross, you get the Starlight Keyblade, and I played a couple of them and realized that their goals are stupidly high. Like, stupidly high. Even though you essentially divide them by 3 for a run, because the goal is the total of your top 3 places, or your top 3 runs. So if you divide the goal by 3, that is what you're actually shooting for per run. They are still stupidly high. And nope, I'm good. No, I don't care. I'm not spending 5 hours on this. Like, oh no, I missed out on one Keyblade from a part of the franchise that I don't care about. And also found out that, oh, by the way, the super important plot from this probably won't be done by the time 3 comes out.
Oh, wow.
Oops. Right, no, it won't be translated by the time the game comes out. Oops. Well, I hope you've been keeping up. And also the story is between like 20 missions. It's like the story bits are like 20 missions apart in this fucking grindy ass fucking game. There's a reason I stopped playing Union Cross after a while, folks. Like, I just didn't care anymore. I really didn't.
Can't say that I blame you, though.
Yeah, because you played Union Cross, you played it back when it was Unchained Heat.
Yeah.
Before it became Union Cross recently.
Yeah.
So you know how kind of just grindy the game is.
Yeah.
In order to get plot.
But I mean, to be fair, it is kind of a mobile game in that aspect of it, and a lot of them are grindy.
This is just grindy to get plot points. This isn't even grindy to get levels or anything. No, this is just a grind to get a plot. That's like the worst kind of grind. This is from someone who doesn't like grinding to start with.
No one likes grinding.
I know. Well, tell that to any Destiny player. They like the grind. Which, okay. There is something bugging me about Forsaken and how it's being treated by their fans. Alright. You know how Destiny 1, The Taken King, was the big turnaround DLC for Destiny 1 in order for it to become like a really good game?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing happening with Forsaken right now. I have a problem with this. And it's not with Forsaken. It's with Destiny in general. So, if Forsaken is when the game is good, why did we take a year to get here when we should have learned the lesson to start with The Taken King? Why did we regress only to get back to where we were supposed to be to start with? Am I the only one seeing this? Am I the only one seeing Bungie going back only to get it's cycle. It is a cycle. We have gone through this exact same cycle with Destiny 1. Am I the only one who's seen this?
Possibly.
Because, like, okay, if Destiny 3, when it comes out, because the Bungie is under a 3-game contract to make Destiny, there will be a Destiny 3 by contract. Unless it's bought out by Activision, I assume. Unless Activision just goes, no, you're not. But I think it will. Like, is Destiny 3 going to start off bad again? And then it's going to take a year for it to be good?
Yeah.
Like, is that what's going to happen? Because no. Like, if am I the only one that's seen we are literally repeating history with Destiny? And it makes me super not want to get into Destiny now, like more so than before, because I'm like, oh my god. So when Destiny 3 rolls around in like a year or so, we're back again. We're back to waiting a year for the really good DLC to come out. That'll change the game once more. And be where the good story is.
Pretty much, yeah.
That just bugged me so much when people were calling it Taken King. I'm like, does no one see that we've all been played? That Bungie's played us all? Bungie, Activision, some asshole somewhere has played everybody into believing that Destiny is a good franchise when it just keeps going back and forth on the quality scale. And a cycle nonetheless. Yeah, in better news, I've been playing Spider-Man for, I don't know, how long did I stream the last 2 days?
I don't know right offhand.
I think it's about 5 hours, which means I've put about 10 hours into it so far. Because the alternate save file I have for when I'm not streaming the game, where I have done all the side objectives up to where we were at when I started back up today, earlier. Yeah, I really enjoy Spider-Man. It's really good. It's really fun. And it does the good thing with comic book adaptations where it goes, this is who our Spider-Man is, without just saying, hey, here's Spider-Man, and just moving on. Like, no, we establish who this Spider-Man is, who this Parker is.
And I've kind of been watching Hobbs play it too, and oh wow, some of the nice little touches that the game sets up throughout it.
Where is he roughly?
I guess it should be safe to say it, because I mean it's pretty given that that's going to happen at some point. Basically to the Doc Ock part.
Okay.
To the technical reveal, I would call it.
Yeah, because okay, here's the thing that confused me, and it's mainly from Insomniac's stance on this, not so much the game. Because okay, going into the game, they wouldn't tell us why they had this new why Spidey had the new suit. They said it was a plot reason. And then, second mission, it's revealed, oh, that's because Octavius designed it for Peter. And I'm like, why are you hiding Octavius? Do you not know that we know that he's going to become Doc Ock? Are you trying to hide him? Because there's no point in hiding him if he literally run into him within the first hour of the game.
I don't think it's necessarily they were trying to hide him. Just a case of they didn't want that to be the main attraction kind of deal.
You have a main attraction. It's called Mr. Negative in the Sinister Six. Which, Let me guess. Otto is the leader of the Sinister Six on the Breakout. He's the one that's supposed to be revealed at the Breakout.
Probably.
Okay. I'm just fully expecting it to be like, yeah, Octavius shows up at the prison breakout. It's not Goblin because, okay, has he gotten all the collectibles or like all the backpacks?
I don't think he's gotten all, but he's gotten quite a bit of them.
Okay, I've gotten all of them, and from what I've gleaned from all the backpacks is we're in a Green Goblin less universe for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He is. We are sans any goblin of any variety, which is really weird to be like, we're in a Spider-Man universe that is where Spidey's been around for 8 years, and his main villain for all these 8 years is Kingpin, not Goblin. Not Goblin, not Venom, not even Octavius, no, Kingpin. And I am like, this feels weird. This feels weird, because like, the other villains he's been dealing with are the ones we know about from the Breakout. Mysterio is one of the backpack ones. Sandman's also in the backpack stuff because we've gotten a piece of it. There's a piece of his helmet in one of the backpacks, and there's a vial of the Sandman's sand, which in of itself is the Sandman. So, yeah, Sandman and Mysterio have shown up in this universe, and Spidey has dealt with them, possibly on multiple occasions. But once more, no Goblin, which I think even, like, we don't even have a Gwen Stacy. Because I think Peter and MJ's relationship pretty much, like, covers the entire 8 years he's been active, so, like, there's no time for Gwen unless she was just, like, a blink and you miss it part of his life in 8 years that he didn't talk about.
Yeah.
So, like, no Goblin, no Gwen. We know there's no Venom because Insomniac has went on record saying Venom is not in this game, which tells me, considering there's a lot of work to build a universe in this game for Spidey, which tells me somebody had a really good Venom pitch, but they said, that's game 2, we need a game 1 pitch.
Well, and I'm wondering too, is this supposed to be essentially the same Spider-Man we're now seeing start up, but at a later point?
What, the MCU one?
Yeah.
No. No,
well, the reason I say that is because, you know, the whole Avengers Tower being there.
Right, Avengers Tower is there, but also the Sanctorum is there, and the Wakandan Embassy, but the thing is, those look completely different. Here's the thing, Avengers Towers is a comic thing. That's not a movie thing. That's also a comic thing.
I'm just meaning, it seems kind of funny that we're throwing a lot of stuff together to kind of allude like this could potentially be.
I know. The thing is, that happens a lot with anything right now. That's even happened in the comics. Like, a lot of things have retroactively been changed in the comics to reflect the MCU. Like, Nick Fury, he wasn't always black. He was a white guy until the movies came out. And then we introduced his son, who was black. And in the Ultimate Universe, he was literally Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
And that was pre-MCU. Like, a lot of things like that happen. Like, the reason that some of the things might seem familiar because they're from the movie is because they're throwing things in there from the movies because that's probably a mandate from Marvel. That's in there for the movie fans. That's why every single one of Spidey's suits from the movies is in the game. All of them. The homemade suit, the Iron Spider suit, the Homecoming movie suit.
Well,
that's why they're all there.
The suits itself, I'd be fine with.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's a nice little aesthetic touch that kind of helps represent the entirety of Spider-Man, not just one set line or anything.
Yeah.
It's just, that's one of those, that's why I didn't fool with mentioning the Iron Spider suit when I was saying about that, because it's like, that to me doesn't feel like they're trying to be like, oh, well, this could be in the same universe. That just feels to me like, oh, well, we've had all these other Spidey suits in the years, so sure, we'll throw that in as stuff they can get. My thing is, like you said, this does feel weird in terms of enemy setups. And it almost, for some reason, makes me think that maybe this either originally was going to be tied closer to the MCU stuff, and then maybe that got thrown out part of the way through, or maybe something got shuffled along the ways to kind of force the hand to go that direction.
I would, from my experience with Marvel, this is just them going, hey, the movies are really big. Hey, why don't you put some stuff there? Because Alias Investigations is in there as well from Netflix. But that's not Alias Investigations from Netflix. Because the sign's wrong.
Well, like I said, the reason I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's the original take and then it got shuffled away from it for whatever reason is because, like you said, he has been active for a number of years prior
8 years,
to
actually.
Yeah, prior to the game. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to look at that and be like, okay, well, this could be the same one. Maybe the reason that stuff didn't happen like we're so used to seeing is because, oh, look, Spider-Man's had such a big part with the Avengers so far. I'm wondering if that might have been part of that kind of deal.
Well, this is supposed to be as part of an initiative of Marvel's to make their own like video game cinematic universe, because this is supposed to be a part of the same quote-unquote universe as the Square Enix Avengers game. Like, they're both part of the same quote-unquote series. But I don't know if that's still true, because that Square Enix Avengers game is kind of MIA at the moment. It's kind of vaporware. Because we've got nothing from the teaser, nothing besides the teaser for like, I think 2-3 years now. It's been a while.
Okay, well, to this I'm gonna say, they put Square in charge of it. The same company that has pushed Kingdom Hearts 3 for how long? Because, oh, Final Fantasy takes priority. Like,
And just to like,
yeah, I feel like they need a different group to be doing that.
and just to like squash any thoughts anyone has of this being connected to the MCU, Spidey doesn't know Doctor Strange, because and you'll see it on stream, because I streamed it today and it happened today. When I took a picture of the Sanctorum, Spidey didn't know who was in the Sanctorum, even though in Infinity War he met Doctor Strange.
But did he have the knowledge that that's where he was?
I would assume after Infinity War, after spoilers, he comes back to life with Strange. In order for this work, he would know where the Sanctorum is. Because also remember, spoilers, Spidey's dead in the MCU right now.
Well, quote unquote dead.
Well, he's quote unquote dead with Doctor Strange, and I would assume post Infinity War, Strange would be like, hey, here's my house, by the way. Also, like, Aunt May's like older than she is in the MCU. Like there are things that don't line up with the MCU. Like the only things that line up with the MCU is kind of the not Spider-Man stuff, to be honest. Just put those cards on the table. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. The combat's good. Although I've managed to send the camera under the floor in combat 3 times now. 3 separate times, mind you. I've managed to get the camera under the floor for a hot second before it realized, oh no, I can't be here.
I feel like that's user error then, because I've yet to see Hobbs pull that off.
Well, it's came off a web zip to an enemy. So the camera's out of my control on that one. Like I just web zipped to an enemy and the camera went bloop, which I'm assuming the camera ran into something. That was just a derp on the camera's part because it hit something obstacle wise and thought it had to get out of the way, which sent it under the ground. Because one of them was during the open Kingpin area when I was playing on my own, and I think another happened on stream at some point. And also another little glitch. You know those car chase segments? Or the car chase crimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe this happened on stream yesterday. I got a check mark for stopping the car without injuries by bonking off of it. That literally happened yesterday. I bonked off the car on accident trying to get onto it. And whoop, check, you stopped the car. And I'm like, I didn't stop the car. What are you talking? I bonked off of it. Game. But yeah, that was the stream yesterday. I should go back and get a highlight of that one. Like, I literally bonked off the damn thing. Also, I think I have web zipped directly into a missile that someone fired when I was trying to get to them. Like, multiple times already.
Oh, wow.
Yes. That is my own stupid fault for not dodging, mind you. That's not a glitch. That's me being stupid. Because I'm terrible at combat sometimes. But yeah, I've still enjoyed it. It's really fun. It does scratch that itch I've had since the Arkham games. And it does feel just as good, if not better, than at least half the Arkham franchise. Because Yuri Lowenthal's voices Spidey in this, and I don't think he's ever voiced Spidey before. Like, let me look, because I think this is his first time playing Spidey. It would probably be better if I don't go to IMDb, because I can get a full listing on Wikipedia. But I can just go, Spider-Man, have you played him before?
What sucks is I don't have a PS4, so that means I won't be able to play it.
Yep.
Like, well, that's a thing.
He has been in a Spider-Man cartoon before, but he was Kirk Connors. Oh, also, Kirk Connors is confirmed in the universe because there's a vial of an antidote for the lizard. Apparently it didn't stick, so the lizard is somewhere out there.
Huh.
Strangely enough, no mention of Kraven, although I'm not surprised. Kraven is probably one of the weirder, like, how do we explain this one? Like, seriously? Because Kraven the Hunter is I think he's English. I think he's British. Some British hunter that just comes to New York to hunt Spider-Man because he wants to hunt Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, I think you just explained it then.
Like, there's no way of getting around that one. It's just like, he's hunting Spider-Man because he's a tracker in stuff, and he wants to hunt Spider-Man because he believes that will be the greatest hunt of them all, and I'm like, this is comic weird. I don't know if you can really handle this one seriously.
Sure you can.
I'll remind folks that probably the best story Craven ever had is the one where he committed suicide after he tried to kill Spider-Man by burying him 6 feet under. By the way, he didn't succeed, but he still killed himself. That's Craven's Last Hunt.
Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those cases where it's like, when people bring up, like, Captain Marvel, like, original Captain Marvel, and I go, the most notable story of his is the one where he got cancer, right? That's the one everyone knows. Is when Captain Marvel died of cancer. So, sometimes just you just walk away from the comic stuff. You try to do your own thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything like interesting from the other stuff I picked up. Harry's overseas. Norman is mayor, which feels like they looked at when Norman Osborn became president of the United States after what was it? Siege? Was it Siege? No, Secret Invasion, where he sniped the Skrull Queen, and he got the presidency because of it. And he essentially took over the United States because he took over S.H.I.E.L.D. and turned it into Hammer.
Because of course he did.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you, comics are weird. Because I thought it was Siege, where it's like, oh, was it Siege where, like, Asgard was in somewhere in Texas? And, like, somebody was trying to take it over? And for those wondering, it wasn't that long ago. That's within the last 10 years of comics, is when that shit happened. The Iron Patriot suit? Yeah, that's from when Norman Osborn was president, because that's who he was. He was Iron Patriot then. Which is weird when you see the Iron Patriot suit and you're like, you're technically a bad guy. Technically speaking, because you're technically Norman. Rhodey never wore that suit. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I encourage anyone to give it a shot if you're interested. I also picked up the Season Pass City Never Sleeps thing, so I get the Black Cat DLC when it comes out next month. I thought it came out at the end of this month. No, it comes out next month. And I assume the Turf Wars one is Hammerhead. And Silver Lining, I'm at the point where Silver Sable just got introduced, so I don't know how much more of a presence she has in the story. So I don't know if that's her, if that's DLC focused entirely on her, or if it's going to be something else entirely. Because Turf War sounds like, yeah, you're going to introduce Hammerhead here, aren't you? We're gonna throw Hammerhead or Tombstone at you. Because those are both major mob bosses. Anything else before we talk articles?
I can't think of anything right offhand, so.
Alright. Oh, I did remember, since I did get to play as Miles recently, I'm assuming Miles does not become Ultimate Spider-Man at any point in the game, right? From what you've seen?
So far, I've not seen.
Okay. I assume that's the case because I haven't heard anyone flipping out about Miles becoming Spider-Man, and I'm like, good. Slow burn that. Like, slow burn that going in the next game, where you can maybe then introduce Miles. Like, we don't have to rush Miles to be into becoming Spider-Man. We don't. We don't need that. Don't rush it. Slow burn it. So that way, when Miles becomes Spider-Man, well, Ultimate Spider-Man, or whatever you want to call him, in case you don't kill Parker to get this, you can do whatever you can you make a big deal about it. That's why I assume that, like, Gwen, they don't mention Gwen at all, just in case they want to, like, we want to pull out Ghost Spider for this. Is that okay? Like, we want to do Gwen, but we want to do Spider-Gwen. Which, I wouldn't be surprised, because technically Miles is not from the main universe. For those wondering, Miles is from the Ultimate Universe, where he became Spider-Man after Parker died. Which I think the MCU's even confirmed that Miles is there, but he's like 7. But anyway, first up on articles, you know how the Switch Online service lets you do cloud saves?
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be some exceptions. Essentially, any game that has any type of persistent save system or online saves can't do it. So, Pokemon, Splatoon, Dark Souls, no cloud saves.
And I believe from what I saw on this one, it's mainly because of potential duplication / revert to the previous kind of deal.
Essentially. Which I'm not surprised. I would think you could abuse the fuck out of that system if you found the way, if you could do it.
The game though that baffles me is Splatoon 2. Because your multiplayer rank and all of that is stored on the servers. Or should be, I would think. So the only thing you could duplicate would be buying the items, but you can only have one of them at a time anyhow, and the game checks for that. Because that's present based off of collecting rewards from Salmon Run.
Yeah.
So that one's the one I'm like, I don't get that.
Yeah, that would...
Like, the only thing I can think of is maybe the rankings for Splatoon 2 are saved locally.
That would make the most sense of why this is the case. Like, something has to be saved locally to where they can't do cloud saves. And I'm like, it has to be something integral to the online for that to happen.
But, okay, at that point, too, I have to wonder. Because what are you gonna do? Cheat and lower your rank? How is that helpful?
I was about to say, what online service oh right, it was Overwatch, where people were purposely lowering their rank.
Yeah, but what was that gonna do?
I forgot. There was a point to it, but I forgot what it was.
Like, the only thing I could think is a game like Splatoon probably wouldn't have checks to go off of, like, if you had a weapon and reverted back to a lower level. Still having that. But if all of that's saved locally, then a cloud save wouldn't affect that. The only issue would be you lower your level. And I'm sorry, I'm not seeing that problem.
Yeah, I think the Splatoon 2 has the opposite problem, where people are cheating to get the highest ranks possible in the game at the moment.
Right. And that's done based off of basically software mods, because, you know, Nintendo didn't test the hardware to see if it could be bypassed. Because I've actually looked into how you do that and get into the boot menu, and oh my god, it's super simple. I'm like, that is odd. Why did they not think to check that? Because for those that don't know, the Joy-Con hook into a slot on the side of the Switch, and they're connected with pins. It's certain pins that allows you to get into the boot system.
So what you're saying is, in order to hack the Switch, I literally have to know how to hack any rider bell, essentially.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. Like, I'm not getting into specifics. If you want to find out for yourself, go look it up. I did out of just curiosity to see how easy it would be, and when I saw that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Like, it's legitimately like quote unquote hacking a rider belt, right?
Yeah.
You're just hitting a certain number of pins in sequence.
And it's actually just 2 pins while you're powering it on.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So that's not hacking. That is not hacking. What
I understood from it when I first was hearing about it was a same hardware flaw that the NVIDIA Shield had beforehand. That means it was a known problem. Nothing like the one company that bans people for homebrewing consoles is just like, oh, here you go, here, homebrew it yourself. Now, before anyone decides, I'm going to go rush out and get a Switch to homebrew it, from what I had heard a while back, they did have it fixed for later releases. I don't know how later.
The last batch, baby.
I'm sure there's like a serial number breakdown where you could figure it out. But basically, if you got it on launch day or shortly after, yeah, yours can do it. Like, that's a guarantee at that point. So, basically, yeah, mine could do it. Yeah.
Well.
And from what I've seen, I don't know if I would do it for the save file manipulation stuff. Like, if I did it, it would probably be more like how a lot of people do in order to get like virtual console stuff. Because, let's be honest, the Switch is a Linux console at its core. Meaning just about any emulator can run on it. But, yeah, I've not done it because I'm more wanting to let stuff like that get out there a bit more and tested before I even think about it. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I mean, kind of run back to the original there. Yeah, the problem with Splatoon 2 is everyone cheating to rank up, and that's coming from homebrew. Cloud saves aren't actually going to do anything. Mm-hmm. Not to help with that. Like, the only thing I can think is maybe Nintendo's planning on releasing an anti-cheat for it, and if they can tell that you've tampered with the save file, then they revert you back. So then maybe these cloud saves could effectively store the higher ranked that you did, and then make it look legit when you retrieve that cloud save. So maybe that's one of those, they know that's a loophole, but rather than code a solution, they're just gonna say no.
Yeah.
To this I say, ban people that cheat it. Just straight up ban them. If you're gonna tamper with your save file on an online game, you deserve it. I mean, if you're sitting there tampering with your save file for, say, Odyssey just to get all the moons, what's that hurting? You do it on a multiplayer game? Yeah, you deserve to get banned. You're that dumb. I mean, come on.
Well, we have some better news to talk about. That is, like, I am honestly surprised by this, but you remember how Starlink has essentially a Star Fox integration in it, where you get the R-Wing and Fox and stuff?
Yep.
Okay, recently gameplay footage has come out, and you can, like, roll the video down below to kind of let people see this in action.
I
I guess
just a second.
the question kind of became, like, how integrated is this collaboration of Star Fox and Starlink? Apparently a good bit. Like, more than you would expect, because you have your opening cinematic, and after it plays, you get an additional cinematic if you're playing on Switch, where the Star Fox crew are essentially chasing after Star Wolf. I don't know if it's Star Wolf as in Wolf or Star Wolf as in the whole team. They kind of say it like it's Star Wolf is one person, so they're just chasing after a wolf, which sounds weird. I don't know. You made me make better sense of the dialogue, because I believe that cutscene is in the footage down below. But no, like, the whole team is here. Like the only thing we're missing is the Great Fox and Rob, but the whole team's here, and they're in the battle, and they have dialogue interacting with the other characters, and they have their own missions. In, like, they're essentially just as much of a character as any other character in the game, and I am like, what? You went this far with this collaboration? Why is this not just a Star Fox game?
Because it technically is.
Like, why didn't Nintendo just tell you, it's like, hey, like, you don't have to worry about your own IPs. Like, you can just make this a Star Fox, and we'll pay. We'll pay for it all. Like, all of it. Because I'm like, I don't care for, like, these characters or their ships, really, kind of. I'm just like, Fox is here, I'm playing the whole game as Fox if I play this. Like, I'm sorry, who are you? Like, you have, like, I don't care. Like, I am honestly surprised that they are this integrated in this game. And bear in mind, this is only for the Switch version, and this is a multi-platform game that is coming out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. All this just for the Switch version. Like, if you attempt to scan the R-Wing or Fox in any other version, it won't work. And all this stuff doesn't exist in any other version. So, just from a pure content level, you are literally not going to get as much content if you play any other version besides the Switch version. Legitimately. Because that is how integrated the Star Fox team is into this game. That's kind of insane. Because that is not how it went for Skylanders, when they were like, okay, here's a Donkey Kong and Bowser, like, Skylander characters and vehicles. They were just any other character. They weren't anything special. But here it's like, yeah, this is kind of a Star Fox game now, because they're kind of here. They have their own plot as a side plot. Because they're chasing after Wolf, and I'm like, is Wolf and crew gonna show up in this? Like, is Andross gonna show up? Is this side plot just gonna lead to us having to go fight Andross, who's secretly working for the bad guys? Also, this game still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're somewhere in the footage somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, you saw the cutscene at the start of, like, yeah, that.
I feel like I'm probably sold on it.
I am too. Granted, I don't like the controller setup for this, where we have this giant fucking ship sitting on the controller, but you don't have to do that.
Honestly, it might not be as bad.
Well, it depends on how heavy those things are. Because they look pretty chunky, and I wonder if they're hollow. Like, okay, they're hollow in the base because the pilots have to go into the middle of them. But, like, how is the rest of it hollow to make it, like, not as chunky? Because that's like a good bit of plastic, I feel like.
Also, I know we only saw it connected to the Joy-Con grip. Did we ever happen to see if the Pro Controller works with the attachment stuff?
I don't think we have.
Because, I mean, there's nothing different with the Pro Controller and the Joy-Con.
Yeah.
So, functionality, it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be whether or not the mount actually is designed to work and adapt to either one.
Yeah. And for those wondering, like, do I have to play the game with the giant ship hooked onto my controller? You do not. Like, if you want the live swap weapons, turn them around, swap wing stuff, you have to have it hooked up. But if you can just scan the ships, scan the pilots, and scan the stuff, and you can just select all that. And you don't have to have the ship hooked up to the controller when you play the game. Which is also kind of the insane part of, so once we register it, it's good. I believe that's literally their wording on it of like, yeah, you can just register the stuff and it's fine.
I still wish, and like this is the only thing that gripes me, the fact that we don't have the walker transformation.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're taking everything else from Zero, so, I mean, obviously that's where Nintendo feels like Star Fox is at.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't we just utilize the walker?
I think it's because that would require its own set of animations, and its own set of assets, and its own set of a whole bunch of other shit we're not doing for Star Fox, even though we're doing everything else just for Star Fox.
But, I mean, would it? It would just be a different model. Because you think about it, the way the jump mechanic is set up in it, with the hover, you could definitely do that with the way the walker's designed. Like, I've not seen anything with ground movement that couldn't be done with just a simple model swap.
Yeah. Maybe speed, because I'm looking at this footage and I'm like, the walker doesn't move that. Like, it super doesn't move that fast. Maybe just speed of movement. That would be my only thing now. It's just like, yeah, they wanted these ships to move fast on land, and like the walker is not fast.
The only other thing I can maybe think of is maybe since all we've ever seen has either been on ground or in space, maybe there is in between, and it's easier to do that rather than having the walker transformation back and forth.
I would think so. I want to say we've seen a planetary landing. Hey.
Like going from space combat straight to planetary? Because I think we've only seen from being on planet.
I don't think it was from space combat to land combat, but
that's what I'm more talking about. Maybe they've got something like that, and because of that, it would be easier to just have one model than to try to do a custom animation for that. Because bear in mind, this R-Wing does look different than the Zero R-Wings.
Well, it does have to have these big giant ports on the side.
So... well, I mean, not just that, really.
Yeah.
The wings are kind of designed a little different, and the entire body of it is a little more bulkier.
Yeah. And I assume that's to translate to toy-wise so the fox can fit inside the damn thing.
That might not be the case. That might be more to put it in the same kind of art style.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm still just amazed that I'm like, they're... Because, like, how much Nintendo and Ubisoft are working together. Because I want to say it was just a rumor that I read from, I think it's a game, I want to say it was either a Game Informer article or one of the Nintendo news websites I follow, that was saying that the Mario and Rabbids team might have pitched something to Nintendo on their recent trip to Japan.
Oh god.
Like, okay, I'm not surprised. Mario and Rabbids has been immensely successful for Nintendo. Like, immensely successful, so I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised Nintendo was like, what would you like to do next? Because Ubisoft has already hit it out of the park once, and if Starlink is successful, oh look, they did it twice. I wouldn't be surprised that once more, come next year, Nintendo once more shows up at Ubisoft being like, we gave Ubisoft another thing to play with. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they give them, like, you know one thing I would like to see that I don't think Nintendo would do, but I would totally see Ubisoft doing?
What?
Okay. Captain Falcon is a bounty hunter, right?
Yeah.
Samus is a bounty hunter, right?
Yeah.
Star Fox, while they're mercenaries, they could technically be hired for a bounty, right?
Okay, but I don't know where exactly you're completely going with this, but bear in mind, so far Ubisoft hasn't really been focused with solely Nintendo properties.
Right.
It's always been their creation mixed in with Nintendo properties. So, and so far we've only seen them trying to mix one at a time.
Right.
So I don't know if they would go too out of the park.
I know. I was just throwing out there, what if we have a space hopping adventure and we run into some bounty hunters from Nintendo franchises along the way that are helping us, like, on our spacefaring adventure? Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I mean, you have two bounty hunters and a mercenary group. They could, help out, maybe be guest characters. Just tossing it out there. I mean, like, who, like... Actually, I'm trying to think if Ubisoft has action game experience, right? Like a Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance.
I think so.
Well, no, this would be better in Platinum's hands, and they technically own Platinum. Like, okay, Captain Falcon plus Platinum. Not racing, no, when he's doing his other job. Eh?
Maybe. You know what I'm feeling though?
What?
We're gonna have something crossover with Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. Granted, I'm trying to think of what other Ubisoft would work with that. There's not a whole lot. Unfortunately. Like, they don't really have anything fantasy-like under their umbrella of IPs, so to have to be something new. Like Starlink.
Yeah.
Which is once more where I go, hey, you put Star Fox in here. Samus has a ship too. You could throw in here as well. She has like 4. Like you could totally redesign her ship and just be like, oh, this is Samus' ship for the game, because like she has like 4 different ships.
I feel like that probably wouldn't happen for one simple reason.
Prime 4.
Yep.
They
wouldn't want to take anything away from it.
Yeah. Well, you could do it as a tie-in to be like, hey, we got this new design for Samus' ship in Metroid Prime 4. How about you go test it out in Starlink while you wait for Metroid Prime 4 to come out in a few months? As a little DLC thing next year before Prime 4 comes out.
Part of me wants to say that won't happen. Part of me wants to say that should happen, and then I'm like, at the same time, seeing what you'd have to do to modify it, I don't know how well that would work.
Well, it's not like Samus' ship can't be redesigned again for Prime 4. I say again, Samus has had 4 distinctly different versions of her ship.
Across several games, though.
Yes. I also love how it doesn't have a fucking name.
I'm wanting to say, hasn't the entire Prime trilogy utilized the same ship, though?
No. Prime 1 had it more like the ship we normally see. Prime Hunters, well, actually it was more detailed.
I said trilogy. Didn't count Hunters.
Well, Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime Hunters are using the same ship. Is why I say that. Is because I'm looking at it and they have the same ship.
Piss. OBS.
Oh no, OBS, what are you doing? No!
It's fine.
Okay. Let me throw this link your direction. Because, Metroid Prime and Hunters use it. Prime 2 actually looks more in line with the classic design from, Super Metroid, because it's less detailed and more color accurate. And then 3 just throws something completely different. And I know that's not because of Fozon, because she lands at the gunship, I think she lands with that one at the start of the game, so she has that one from the start. She doesn't transition from her classic to this one. No, she starts with this one in 3. Which makes me think, do you not own, 4 different ships? Which also makes me go, where does Samus park and, live? When she's not blowing up planets. Which, I have a question. Since, okay, Star Fox gets paid on how much damage they cause to the enemy, right?
To be fair, I could probably see Prime 1 and Prime 2 both being very similar.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's
maybe similar enough to where maybe just some upgrades have been the difference kind of deal.
Yeah. But 3, that's a new ship. That's a new ship.
I'm wondering yes and no. Because, Prime kind of had the tie-in with Fusion. Which, isn't Fusion supposed to be the end of the timeline, so to say, for the Metroid series?
Hang on, gotta look up the timeline, because it's wonky as fuck if I remember right, in terms of the order of games.
I'm thinking it is.
Yes.
I could possibly see 3's being the final gunship, so to say.
Well, she has her more classic gunship in Fusion, and then she gets that other ship when she gets her new suit.
AKA after the first one gets blown up.
Right.
AKA, that could also mean that maybe corruption goes more so should technically go somewhere in the middle of fusion, but yeah, not getting into that part of it.
I was about to say, technically, Other M happens before fusion, but we don't talk about that game.
What game? I didn't hear you say a game.
But also, like Metroid 2 and I actually believe the timeline is actually the order you see the ships from left to right. Like, let me double check that.
I could see that.
Metroid Zero Mission. Yeah, that's a timeline order. That is timeline order. What makes me go like, Samus, did you just get a new ship in Prime 3 and then just park it somewhere so you could just go back to your old one? Because what I was going to bring up earlier is like, Star Fox gets paid for how much damage they cause, right?
Uh-huh.
Does Samus get paid the same way too?
Probably.
And like, she's blown up at least like, what, 3 planets?
Oh.
So, why is she not retired?
Gotta have all that money. But no,
Like,
you know,
that was a thought I had when Tide was playing Other M. I'm just like, Samus, you were a millionaire at this point because you've blown up like 3 planets worth of shit. And if the Alliance paid you and like Tornaria pays Star Fox, you're rich.
I'm gonna point out something. There's very slight differences in terms of the ship outside of Zero Mission 3 and Fusion.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be so far-fetched to think that maybe what we're seeing outside of those 3 is one ship and the other 3 are technically the same ship but had different upgrades throughout?
Maybe?
Meaning she would technically only have 2 ships?
I could see her having 2 ships. Which makes me go like, do you not just use your Metroid Prime 3 one more? Because I actually kind of like that. Like, I don't mind her classic one, but I'm like, I like the aggressive look of of 3s.
I kind of don't. Like, I feel like it would fit in, like, Starlink or something like that, but outside of that, I kind of like the classic ship.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if they were gonna do something like that in terms of putting Samus and Starlink, maybe go with the 3 ship.
Yeah,
because that looks like that would fit the best.
Yeah, you could like, especially if you like scroll up and see the render of it up top. Like, redesign the wings a little bit. Yeah, you could totally just slap that in Starlink.
Like, that
Also,
one would fit the best.
Also, I have seen something I can't unsee now with Samus's ship.
What?
Alright, look at the Metroid 2 one.
Okay.
Look at the cockpit area. Look at the things coming off the cockpit area. What does that look like?
I don't think I see it.
It looks like a rabbit.
Oh dear God.
It just clicked right there for you. I just looked at it. I'm just like, oh, look at this. It's like, there's the ears, there's the head, there's the eyes. Oh my God, her ship's a rabbit. And it's like the only one that makes it like a rabbit. I don't think it's supposed to look like a rabbit, because it doesn't look like a rabbit in any other render I've seen. But in that one, I'm just like, that angle. That's a rabbit.
But, anyway.
Yeah. On to other news. You know how that Shovel Knight Trio, or Shovel Knight Amiibo Trio has, like, had no date forever?
Yeah.
And like King of Cards hasn't had a date in forever. And also like the 4-player kind of Smash kind of battle game that was also a DLC at some point. Never had a date, which I didn't know was a thing until now.
Yeah.
We have a date now.
Yay.
April 9th. Next year. King of Cards. The Shovel Knight Trio of Amiibo. The Shovel Knight multiplayer mode. All drop. And I just have to go, finally. Finally.
How much?
Do you own Treasure Trove?
Yes.
It's free.
Okay.
I was about to say, do you own the base game? Yes, it's free.
I own it twice.
So you have it double free. Yeah, it's like King of Cards, it's free if you own Treasure Trove. If you own any Treasure Trove edition, you own it for free. At least that's as far as I understand. I assume that's the case. Let me double check. Okay, that doesn't help me, Nintendo. Thank you. Why don't I just check the press kit from Yacht Club's games itself?
Yeah. It should be.
Yes, it's either $10 or as a pre-update with Shovel Knight Treasure Trove.
$10 if you buy it on its own. Just like
Yes.
Spectre of Torment and forgot what Plague Knights was.
Piss, I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
But basically like
League of
those
Shadows.
two. Okay, yeah. I legitimately forgot.
It doesn't help. That's the not as good of the 2 DLCs we've had so far.
Yeah, because it was the copy and paste DLC essentially.
Yeah, whereas Spectre Knight is a lot more filled out. I think it has also a lot better movement than Plague Knight.
Yeah, Spectre Knight, yeah. To be fair, he's actually the reason why I went back and actually finished Shovel Knight's campaign. aka base game campaign.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, Spectre Knight's got the movement.
Granted, it's on my Wii U, because that's where my copy of Shovel Knight is on Wii U.
Mine's on the Wii U and the Switch.
Yeah. I need to go back and play Spectre Knight, or like Plague Knight and Spectre Knight, but I was waiting for King of Cards to come out, and we just do all three. But I might do it sooner.
Well, I would definitely be game to doing another Spectre Knight run through.
Yeah. But that one's gonna have to wait for a little bit. Anyway, so you remember Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, right?
Uh-huh.
Didn't we say that this was probably going to come to Switch because they probably needed to like a different version of 15 for Switch?
Uh-huh.
Guess what's coming to Switch?
Uh-huh.
And PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So for those of you who don't want pretty 15, you get this 15 if you feel so. Essentially 15 mobile, because this started at, what was it, a mobile port?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a mobile port. So, yeah, Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition is coming to consoles, specifically the Switch for those interested, because why would you get this version over the regular 15 on PlayStation 4? Why? Like
okay, whoa. Now I've got an even bigger problem with that. The story and voice acting are identical to the console game.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Really, Square? So we're gonna basically re-release the game on consoles that already have the game?
You do realize that they are still making 15 DLC, right?
Yeah, but DLC is new stuff.
Uh-huh.
Not remaking what's already there.
Uh-huh.
Just one more reason why Kingdom Hearts 3 was delayed as long as it was.
So we can squeeze everything we can out of 15. I don't care. Give me 3. I'll be happy. I'll never have to play another Square Enix game again. Even though, like, as soon as Spider-Man's up, guess what I'm playing on Wednesdays?
Huh.
That's right, folks. I'm playing 15 because that's the only game I got that I can stream on PlayStation 4. Because, spoilers, I've beaten everything else on my PlayStation 4.
Well, I mean, you could beat something again.
Okay. I'll put this in perspective of, like, what I had being PlayStation 4 on. I have .hack GU last recode, which I'm 2/3 through the entire fucking series. I would just be starting the 3rd game. Digimon Cyber Sleuth, that's an RPG. 15, Kingdom Hearts 2.8. I am not playing through fucking 3D in point 2 again. Odin Sphere, Lithrosphere, which I've already beaten. Persona 5, which I have fucking platinumed with 200 hours in. Platinum, mind you. Why do I have a double listing for Ratchet & Clank and Ratchet & Clank the movie, the game?
Good one.
That's weird. I'm gonna quietly delete one of these.
Good one.
But Ratchet & Clank the movie, the game, which I've beaten. Uncharted 4, which I beat on stream. And Lost Legacy, which I beat also on stream. Oh, in 3D and point 2, I've also beaten on stream because I did that for the marathon. Like, I don't have anything else I can do PlayStation 4-wise. And Switch, the only game I haven't beaten is technically Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, because I haven't beaten Adventure Mode maps yet. Otherwise, I've actually beaten it. Because I haven't gotten the Sonic Mania Plus DLC yet. But otherwise, I've beaten everything on my Switch. And that's all I have on me at the moment, besides my PC. Or besides stuff on Steam. Which is a little bit more varied on that front. Ever so slightly. But anyway, well, as you probably saw mentioned in that article, is that this was probably supposed to be an announcement at a Nintendo Direct that was supposed to happen Thursday.
Uh-oh.
But we didn't... What?
Never had that happen.
What happened?
Apparently that page took so long to load that it kind of broke Opera there.
Well then. But yeah, we were supposed to have a direct Thursday, or this past Thursday, but it did not happen. It got delayed actually at kind of the last minute because it was announced. I want to say it was like Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? It was announced that week that we were getting a direct, and then it was postponed like Wednesday night. Well, Wednesday night U.S. time. It was probably Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Due to an earthquake that hit Hokkaido, which is the northern part of Japan, it was a 6.7 on the Richter scale, I believe. 8 deaths last I saw. A good bit of property damage and power outages, and hopefully things are starting to be okay. Since it's been a couple days since then, things are coming back around from that, because it looked pretty bad. Like, mudslides got created out of this that looked like someone clawed into a mountainside.
Dang.
Yeah, I was just like, holy shit, that looked like something just clawed into the ground in order to create that, like, bug. But yeah, hopefully things will turn around. The death toll hasn't risen any higher than that. Because it sucked that this happened, and hopefully things are getting better. I would assume that this direct, because we've also gotten the Yoshi title that was in development. We've gotten a name for it. Yoshi's Woolly Crafted World, I believe is the name for it. Or Yoshi's Crafted World. I forget which one it is, but I think that was on was it Amazon or Best Buy. One retailer had that listed, and I assumed that was supposed to be a direct announcement. But I assume the direct is essentially being delayed till sometime next week or the week after. Like, we'll get it before the end of the month.
Yoshi's Crafted World, by the way.
Okay, Yoshi's Crafted World. I was like, it's Yoshi's Crafted World, I think. But I don't remember if there was something else in there.
Nope.
Okay. But yeah, we'll more than likely get this direct before the end of the month with the same announcements that we've probably already seen, plus whatever they were supposed to announce already. Like, it probably won't be as surprising and shocking as it was going to be initially, which it probably wasn't going to be anyway. Because it was a September direct, it was most likely just going to reiterate the holiday lineup for Nintendo. So just that, hey, here's Smash, here's Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torn of the Golden Country DLC that, comes out at the end of the month. Actually, I think the DLC comes out next week for people who own the Season Pass, and it comes out at the end of the month if you're wanting to pick up it physically. Because it's essentially an expansion. So, yeah, there's probably nothing surprising. I don't think we would even get any, like, real shocking, surprising Smash announcements. I would think. I say, I would think, as someone who said, oh, this Smash Direct isn't going to be that, shocking, and then, hey, here's K-Roll, hey, here's Castlevania, here's 2 Castlevania fighters, oh, here's a stage, here's a whole bunch of other shit. Oh, by the way, we're going to tease the fuck out of a single-player mode. But we still have a Direct to talk about, because we got an Indie Direct last week.
Woohoo!
That essentially highlighted a whole bunch of indie titles that are going to come, that are already out or coming out for the Switch. So Hyper Life Drifter is already out on the Switch. It came out this past week. Towerfall is coming out the 27th with Celeste and her evil shadow self. I don't remember what her name is, but they're both playable characters. Treasure Stacker, which is a platforming puzzle game, essentially.
That's a weird combination.
Like, okay, you are an actual person in the Tetris box, like, picking up, like, the pieces in order to form keys, in order to open treasure chests, in order to, again, get your Tetris, essentially. And I'm like, this sounds cool. That's coming out in the small Servant, which is a little like isometric little platformer kind of arena fighter with some multiplayer. Miko's Night Market, which looked kind of cool art style wise. Samurai Gun 2 coming out next year. Bullet Age, which comes out in November. The World Next Door, which looked kind of cool. Levelhead coming out in November. King of the Hat, which is a multiplayer arena fighter where essentially you beat up your opponents in order to steal their hats. Your hat is essentially your life. Untitled Goose Game, which is coming out next year, where you essentially play as a goose and you're an asshole to everyone and everything.
So, Goose Simulator 2019?
Yes, essentially. Desert Child, which comes out in December. Wasteland 2, which comes out September 13th. Bastion, which comes out September 13th. The Messenger, which came out last month, which looks really good. And I hate that Ty has streamed the entire game because now I'd actually like to play it because it looks really good.
Yeah. I caught some of it and I'm like, yeah, I need to quit watching.
I know Gerard was like, this is the best game ever, like the best game this year. And I am like, okay, Gerard, you tend to be like sometimes you're a little bit too much for games.
Yeah.
But the more I heard from other people, I'm like, okay, this is a really good game, isn't it? God damn it. Too many good indie games. Too many good indie games. There's too many. I can't play them all. Undertale, which comes out the 18th. Jackbox Party Pack 5, which comes out in October. Transistor, which comes out in November, which is another really good game. Bastion developers. Dragon Mark for Death, coming out December 13th. Light Fingers, coming out September 20th. Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP, which comes out October 28th, 2018. And Into the Breach, which is available right now.
Which, hasn't Smite played that?
Yes, he has.
I have not watched any that he's done with it, but I knew I've seen him playing it for a while there.
I'm in the same boat. It looked cool from what I saw gameplay-wise. But he's streamed it multiple times, I assume it's good.
I don't know. Smite has a weird taste on games sometimes. You know that as well as I do.
Yeah, because like in the next couple weeks we're about to see Ty play fucking Shadow the Hedgehog because September.
I might watch it.
I am definitely
I can
watching
see if he decides it would make a good companion to 06 for speedrunning.
Well, he had to ask, like, what was the best version, and he's getting the GameCube version. Actually, no, he already has the GameCube version. He ordered it recently, and I don't know if it's gotten to him yet or not.
I was thinking the GameCube version was the best.
And I believe he already laid down, it's like, it's $1 million for me to get every fucking ending in this game. So, no.
Yeah,
For those
and I'm gonna laugh if someone manages to just blow him away with a big donation or something quite a few times. On purpose.
You know how I was quoting that one person on Twitter saying the terrible things about episode 2?
Uh-huh.